It's risk management.
I
I've
like it.
already noted it down.
I gotta write that
Wonderful.
down. 3 generations. And what that basically means is you go from hard work, rolling up your shirt sleeves.
Said that there is a fear in the mind to pass the money to the next generation. Will they have enough money?
It's the craziest thing. You could buy a life insurance policy, not die. I'll be bringing each week a different guest with all the answers that you have the questions for. And this way you can come back to my podcast for any questions that come to your mind, and you can focus just on working, as everything else this podcast will provide to you. Hi, welcome to Simple Wealth Wisdom Podcast. I'm your host, Gakhar. Each week, I bring simple financial security ideas for successful business owners and professionals like you to help you build and maintain your lifestyle and legacy. As an insurance and investment advisor, I work with business owners and self-employed professionals. I see a lot of you are always looking for tax advice, accounting advice, legal advice, estate planning, and investment advice. When I work with you all, I always work with a team of lawyers, accountants, estate planning, and investment advisors. As your trusted advisor, I want to make sure that I bring the best to you. You usually hear everything from me, but now I feel through this podcast, I can bring all those people here who are my support system, and you can hear directly from them. This is the reason I started this podcast, where business owners and self-employed professionals like you can always go and get the ideas and answers to their questions regarding how they can protect and grow their wealth in the most tax-efficient manner. Again, being an insurance and investment advisor, and very specifically working with business owners and self-employed professionals like you, I feel each guest will bring a lot of value to you all. And today, I have Jim Ruta from AdvisorCraft as my guest. I'm so excited to have Jim here to speak to me, as this gives me so much confidence, telling you that when you're working with me, you're working with a team of professionals, and most of the time, they're only talking to the advisors. And now you can hear them directly. They're right here to talk to me, and I'll be asking all the questions that you've asked me. All the questions that you have in your mind and you've asked me, I'm going to ask him direct. So welcome, Jim, and thank you for coming here. Oh, it's a delight to be with you, Sim. Absolutely, it's a real pleasure. I look forward to it.
Thank you. Jim is the president of AdvisorCraft Media. He's a 47 years veteran in the life insurance business. Wow. That's a lot of time.
I know it's hard to imagine given my boyish good looks, but that's just the way it is.
That's the way it is.
I was 3 when I started.
Yes, yeah. And Jim has the best sense of humor I want to share with everyone. He's a fellow of distinguished financial advisors. He's a keynote speaker and a tactical coach for financial advisors around the world. I want to say that he's my coach as well. And thank you for being my coach, Jim. I brought him in to give us a well-rounded perspective on the life insurance business and how business owners and professionals can make the best use of this product. So Jim, I'm really, really thankful for you coming here, and I have a lot of questions lined up.
Terrific.
And these questions are not only mine, they're coming from a lot of clients and a lot of other people, business owners, professionals.
Terrific.
So,
great.
As you know, I work with a lot of business owners and self-employed professionals and a lot of high net worth clients. So my first question to you is, what are the opportunities for high net worth clients with life insurance?
Well, listen, it's a great question, Sim. And first of all, let me just thank you for inviting me here today. It's a delight to be with you. You're one of those advisors that I work with from around the world who I absolutely have the greatest respect for because of your work ethic, your interest in making sure that people do the right thing all the time. So that doesn't happen all the time. And so if that means traveling across the city to get here to work with you, I'm happy to do it.
Thank you so much.
So the question is a good one. What are the high net worth opportunities for, in this industry using life insurance? And look, I think the first thing you want to know is that life insurance has really kind of 2 uses, at least the way we talk about it. One is the civilian use. And this is the one that most people might associate with life insurance. And that's risk management. Right. So you have a risk, you manage it, I guess, with life insurance. So this is mortgage insurance. This is making sure that your spouse makes it
to retirement in the event you don't make it, you get your kids through university, all those kinds of issues. And on a business side, and even at a high net worth side, you might have buy-sell agreements that are funded with life insurance. You can have, again, a need and coverage that protects the need. Maybe business loans, that sort of thing. So that's the civilian use of the product, and it's the most common one, and it's the one that I think most high net worth people and professionals understand that this does.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, as we've discovered over the years, is that so many people know that civilian use, but they don't understand the professional use of the product.
Something very different. Nobody has ever used this word in my podcast here, a professional use. So we'd love to hear more about that.
Well, yeah, and it's such an interesting thing. And honestly, I'm a great plagiarist in many respects. I mean, everything I know, I stole from somebody. I can scarcely remember who it is, so I say it's me. But the truth of it is, if I can tell you anything, it's because of everything I've learned from so many people before me. But it's important to remember that professional use. And what is that? Well, the professional use of the product really has two angles to it. Number one is this whole cash for life strategy. The truth is, most people, if you ask them, would you like to be the beneficiary of your own life insurance policy while you're still alive? Most people don't think that's even a possibility.
Yeah, because...
What? I'm alive? Yes. Well, life insurance, using cash value life insurance, can really be something that can provide you with cash for life. It's one of those things that can allow you in many ways to create a fund that allows you to spend and maximize your retirement income, even in a high net worth environment. That's a different use. So cash for life. So on the risk management side, this is tax-free, cash at death, to cover short-term needs or to cover long-term needs.
Yeah.
But you can also have it you can have long-term cash at death or cash for life. And so this need here is something I find that most people don't understand. It's what gives you it's a foundational asset that you create. And whether we have people doing this who are making $100,000 a year, people making $1 million a year, and beyond. And it's interesting because some people will say, and I had a fight on LinkedIn recently with somebody who said, well, why would you ever buy cash value life insurance? And I'm thinking, who is it that buys $1 million annual premium cash value life insurance policies? Like silly poor people? Clearly not. Clearly the people who buy this stuff have access to the best estate planning, accounting, legal, actuarial, any advice possible.
Right.
But they still do it because there's a value in this contract, and there's lots of them. But this whole idea of cash for life, where you can use the product to accumulate cash as you could say as a foundational asset, as a fixed income, non-correlated asset, but it's not an investment. And I think that's got to be clear. It's not an investment because it does things that investments could never do. You could start this program, you die the next day, it fulfills its promise just like that.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things where you can it has some real cash value. I mentioned retirement income, for example, and on the retirement income side, you can maximize your income if you've got enough life insurance, because I could spend all the money I've saved up, and I can still leave money for my family.
Absolutely.
In my life insurance. So that allows me to take chances, do different things because I have that insurance behind me. But the other one, and the one I think is really important, is one that I call sort of cash for generational nobility.
Wonderfully said.
Right?
Yeah.
For generational nobility. And I had this experience with my own father-in-law, who had a very successful business, did very well, had a large life insurance policy that everybody said, well, you don't have to keep that, you can just cancel that now, it's all done, take the money and run. And he said, well, no, I'm not going to do that. I want to change the financial trajectory of my family forever. That's a generational nobility. My family won't be taking from the community. My family can give to the community.
Yeah.
And you can say, and we don't talk about this. This never comes up. I mean, I know you can do charitable things. You can do lots of things with insurance. Of course you can, but you can change the nobility. And I think this is more important than ever. I was at a conference not long ago in Banff, talking about exactly this. And I've even heard this on television recently, where we're talking about the population going down, not continuing to go up into the 10 billion and 12 billion. And if the population starts to turn around, what happens is real estate prices go down. Everything sort of deflates. Now, your family, if it has money, can go on for decades and for generations beyond you. So those two things to me make the biggest difference. The civilian use, which is used by high net worth and professionals, buy-sell agreements, buy term insurance to cover that. Business loans, all that. And again, $10 million, $20 million, and there's lots of very large contracts. But beyond that,
that's wonderful. I think you explained it very well, Jim. And also for high net worth individuals, high net worth business owners, you have accountants who take care of your tax. You have estate planning lawyers who take care of your estate bill. And if you think that's everything, no, there's more planning to it. And that's the reason you need to do what Jim just said.
And it's really important, and that's actually, I'm glad you said that, because there's a really important part of this. A lot of people don't realize the impact that tax has in this country specifically.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like we would ask this question, is there somebody you're so in love with at Canada Revenue Agency that you want to leave them a whole bag of your money when you're gone?
Yeah.
Because the truth is, the back end of RIF when mom and dad are gone is, in this province at least, 53.53% taxable. So you think you're leaving your kids $2 million, you're leaving them $940,000.
Yeah, and that's something most people actually don't even know that.
They don't even know. Now, by the way, you leave them 100,000, they're not going to get 100 either. But 2 million becomes 900 and change, and it's worse than that, because what happens is they actually give the family the 2 million, or more or less. Then they expect you to write a check. And how painful is that?
Yeah.
How much does that hurt? To write that check? It's
course.
brutal. So this tax minimization, which I know is a big part of your business, is something that I think, again, it's not just the risk management, or it's risk management at another level.
Yeah.
It's the tax risk management. Gee, I like that. We should write that down.
Yeah. No, I love that.
So there's this whole thing. It can provide you with a guaranteed source of cash for so many purposes, but it can also protect you against all kinds of risks. And I think, as a good advisor, a good insurance advisor, somebody who specializes like you do, that's what you can do for your high net worth, your professional client, is make sure that we don't miss any opportunities with the product to maximize their estates and their well-being and their financial security.
Very well said. Tax risk management. I've already noted it down.
I gotta write that
wonderful. So we talked about use of insurance for business owners and professionals. Now, do you think there are any universal concerns that people of all walks of life have in their retirement when they are, because self-employed professionals, business owners do not have a retirement package because they were the employers for themselves all their lives. Yeah. So what do you think about their retirement?
Well, it's a great question. And it's one of the most interesting things that I've discovered over the years is that even though there might be a couple more zeros in some people's estates or in their RSPs or their net worth, people are remarkably similar. They're remarkably similar. And years ago, I learned a lesson about the three fears that everybody has in the retirement red zone. The retirement red zone, which is that year, about say 10 years before and maybe 10 years after. And they call it the red zone because it's dangerous time. You don't want to be losing money just before you retire because you may not have enough money to retire, and you don't want to lose it just after because you may not last long enough in retirement.
So you're talking about age 55 to 75.
Yeah,
roughly around
in that range, and it could be 50 to whatever, but like that. It's that period of time.
Yeah.
But there were three concerns that everybody has, and I thought at one time this was only for the mass affluent marketplace, the average person, the middle income person. But I've discovered since that it's exactly the same for everybody. We had a case recently where this applied where someone had a $50 million estate. Now, let me tell you what the fears are. Number one, the number one fear people have in retirement is, will my money last as long as I will? Will my money last as long as I will?
Even if they have $50 million.
My father-in-law, who had all the money he could ever need. He wasn't a $50 million guy, but he had all the money he would never want for money. But he used to ask me, he said, Jimmy, do I have enough money? Will I make it? He says, my daughter will lie to me, but I know you'll tell me the straight goods. Do I have enough money? I said, Dad, you're good. I've done the math. In fact, it turns out that you can live to be at least 193. Up until then, you shouldn't have any problems. Oh, okay. Yeah. And then a guy with $50 million. We all wondered, will my money run out before I do? And that's why security in this regard is so important. I mentioned this about life insurance. Again, on that professional use, we can take that stress away. And life insurance is really a stress reducer, remover in so many ways. And having that cash can, look, we learned years ago, I learned this from a guy in Centennial, Colorado years ago. He said that peace of mind equals quality of life. Peace of mind.
Very rightly said.
Right? Absolutely true.
Very true.
And financial peace of mind. If you know that your money will never run out, you can relax. Number one. Number two is, will there be anything left over to leave to the people that I love? Now, when you're 40 years old, you go, well, I don't really care. Doesn't really matter. Or my dad didn't leave me anything. Whatever. We have these things. But as you get older, you discover that, in fact, that is a big concern. We really wonder, will there'll be anything left over to leave to the people that I love? For example, I have 2 grandchildren. And I think, well, my kids may be hopeless, but my grandkids, they should get money. They'll be all right. Right?
Yeah.
That's that old story, of course, which is, if I knew having grandkids would have been this much fun, I'd have had them first.
Yeah.
So there's that deal. And so, well, there's anything left over to leave to the people that I love. And so you really actually do the math. You go, okay, I'll spend that. Oh, there's still something left over. Okay, good. And the other one is this. The third one is simply this. Will my life have mattered? And we talk about this, and you've heard this discussion before. They say we die twice.
Yes.
Right? Once when when we stop breathing, and the second time when they stop talking about us. And the interesting thing is, all 3 of these concerns can be handled by the professional use of life insurance from a first quality professional life insurance advisor. And that's why this is so important. That's why this podcast is so valuable. Because here in Sim Gakhar, you've got somebody who understands these uses of the product and is prepared to help you make that change. And that is so important to me. It's why I do what I do. And it's why I'm so happy to be here. So those 3 fears are universal. Will my money last as long as I will? Will there be anything left over to leave to the people that I love? And will my life have mattered? And if we can take those fears, those universal concerns away from people, whether they're professionals at the highest end or just average folks, we give them more peace of mind, and we give them a higher quality of life.
Wow. Very well explained. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. What he's saying right now is actually which every high net worth individual should understand and care for. Jim, we've talked about the use of insurance, and you said that there is a fear in the mind to pass the money to the next generation. Will they have enough money? Now, money passed from one generation to second to third. Now I'm coming to your favorite word, Beach, your favorite phrase that you use, shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves. I've heard you saying it many times. So I want you to explain what do you think is shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in the business world for the high net worth clients for enterprises? What exactly does it mean, first of all? And once you explain that, how the wealth that passes from the first generation to the second generation, then to the third generation, what happens to the wealth when there's no planning? So just let's start from short sleeves to short sleeves.
Yes, so that's really, as I understand it, and forgive me if I'm mistaken, but a Chinese saying that most businesses go from shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. And what that basically means is you go from hard work, rolling up your shirt sleeves to maybe making it pretty well in that second generation to finally in the third generation, they've managed to spend all the money and they're back to hard work all over again.
Yeah.
So what that really means is, again, will my life have made any difference? You see, that fear builds right in there.
Yeah.
Right? Because we haven't found a way to make our business continue. I mentioned about generational nobility. Well, it's the same with business generational nobility in that same sense.
Right.
So shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves means we have not found a way to fund our businesses well enough to transform to carry them beyond that church or into and beyond that third generation. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times it's because business owners have not figured out how the transition will happen. And this is where life insurance can fund that transition to make everything work out. Look, shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves is a money problem. Mm-hmm. Either we don't have enough or we can't make enough. And if we can set this up properly, again with a proper estate planning on a business, on a corporate side, and we can fund it appropriately, then we don't have this shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves problem. We can make sure that our businesses continue long after we're gone. So we don't have to be the last, the last of the Mohicans, so to speak, as the old story used to go years ago. I'm sure that's probably against the law today, but we don't have to be the last of the generation to be successful. We can build on it. And I think that's what the right advisors can do for you as a client. They can help you make sure that all your sweat equity in your business will not just pay off for you, but it'll pay off for your family and your family's family
Next
year. And the third and the fourth generation beyond.
Yeah.
And I think the reason this doesn't happen, honestly, we don't think about it. Nobody asked that question. We don't have anybody to ask that question except the professional life insurance advisor like Sim, who understands those questions. And you know what? It's all about the questions. Let me make something else importantly here, is that nobody needs life insurance. Nobody needs it. Maybe that's not a good thing to say here, but it's true. Nobody needs life insurance. There's no law that says if you have a big business, you have to have it. You have to fund your loans. You have to make sure you go 2 or 3 or 4 generations. No law says you have to. So in that sense, you don't need life insurance. Here's the thing. It's all about what you want.
Yes.
If you want your family to continue as you in the lifestyle to which you have hopefully had them become accustomed, if you want your business to go 3, 4 generations to never go away, if you want to protect your retirement, if you want to disinherit the Canada Revenue Agency, and pay those taxes with life insurance at pennies on the dollar, then life insurance can help you. But you don't need it. And I always hate, and we talk like we have capital needs analysis, and we do this as part of our planning. We do all that needs analysis. Nobody likes being told what they need. And that's why I don't say you need anything.
Yeah.
It's about what you want. And if you want to take care of your family, if you want to protect your business, if you want to protect your retirement, if you want to maximize your income. Someone was saying just the other day, I think you were involved in this meeting, that we are mostly we are like income advisors.
Yes, I love that word.
You wouldn't that great?
I love that
right?
word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we're income advisors. If you want your family to have income when you're gone, well, we can help you. If you want your business to have income when you're gone, well, we can help you. If you want your children and your grandchildren to have income, then we can help you. And just on that last
And
point.
the difference between income and the real money. Money, if you have a lump sum money, that's what I heard from that money can finish. But if it's an income, it's a regular.
Well, you can create these things. You can do so much. And in fact, life insurance can make, it's the craziest thing. You could buy a life insurance policy, not die in the whole period, and then use it to give you an income you could never outlive. And people go, well, that can't be. That's not what life insurance is about. I have to die. No, you don't. Again, this is a professional use of the product, and it just makes huge difference if you understand that there's two sides to this coin, and you can make a big difference if you understand it, as you have it with so many thousands of people, in to help them make that difference. So we don't need it, but if we want a higher quality of life, if we want more peace of mind, then that's what we'll do.
That's fantastic. Jim, I have so many questions and the time is running out. So I think I need to have you once again on this podcast because I only asked you half of what I wanted to ask you. And I know when you speak, I just keep looking at you and I see, oh my God, every time you're my coach. I learned a lot from you, but I learn in every meeting. So I think we need to have your, I need you to have me here once again.
We'll be back.
This was so informative, so helpful. And again, as I said that, not only for my audience, for me too. And I thank you once again for coming here and your precious time. I think everyone learned a lot.
My pleasure. Happy to do it anytime.
Yes,
Anytime.
thank you. And that was another episode of Simple Wealth Wisdom Podcast. Please let us know in the comments what you like the most about this podcast. And if there's anything else you want to see or ask, and I'll make sure to bring that to you in our future podcast. Watch for us again next week. Until next time, stay safe. I'm Sim Gakhar. Thank you.